Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Genoa City woke up under a low grey sky, the kind that pressed down on the rooftops and seemed to whisper that something was about to break, and by noon it did. At the Grand Chancellor Athletic Club, the polished marble floors reflected more than just crystal chandeliers and designer heels. They reflected guilt, regret, fear, and for Sally Spectra, that fear was clawing its way up her spine as she stood near the bar waiting. When Adam Newman approached, his expression was sharp, calculating, but there was something else there too, concern. "I had nothing to do with it," Sally blurted before he could even speak. "Billy and Philly's blindsided everyone, including me." Adam studied her carefully. "You expect me to believe you didn't know about their plan to steal control of Newman Media?" Her jaw tightened. "I didn't." The words hung between them like fragile glass. When Adam finally exhaled, it wasn't entirely skeptical. "Billy folded Newman Media into Abbott Communications. Do you even understand what that means?" Sally's throat went dry. Of course she did. It meant war, it meant Victor. And no one walked away from Victor Newman unscathed. Adam stepped closer, lowering his voice. "My father doesn't lose, and when he's betrayed, he destroys people." Sally swallowed hard. "You think I don't know that?" "I think you're standing too close to the blast zone," Adam shot back. "Billy just painted a target on himself and anyone tied to him." Her eyes flickered. "We're not in a good place." That got Adam's attention. "What does that mean?" he asked quietly. "It means," Sally said, forcing steadiness into her tone, "that Billy and I are falling apart." A muscle moved in Adam's jaw. "You deserve better than him." Sally gave a hollow laugh. "You always say that." "Because it's true." But even as Adam's voice softened, Sally felt the weight of inevitability pressing in. The relationship she'd fought to defend, the loyalty she'd offered Billy Abbott, it suddenly felt one-sided, and maybe it always had been. Across town, that reckoning was already unfolding. At his apartment, Billy Abbott was pouring himself a drink when the door burst open. "Seriously," he snapped, "you people ever knock?" Nick Newman stepped inside, fury radiating off him like heat. "You stole my father's company." Billy rolled his eyes. "I restructured media assets, big difference." Nick moved closer, jaw clenched. "You think this is a game? You partnered with Phillies to humiliate my family." Billy took a slow sip. "Your family's been humiliating people for decades." "You're going to lose control," Nick warned. "You always do, and when you crash, you take everyone down with you." Billy's smirk faltered just slightly, but only for a moment. "Sore losers," he muttered. Nick leaned in. "You're not winning this, Billy, you're spiraling." And then the door opened again. "Sally." Nick looked at her with something close to pity. "You're wasting your life," he told her bluntly. "You're smarter than this." Billy bristled. "Don't drag her into it." Nick shot him a look full of contempt. "Too late." And with that, he stormed out. Silence fell like a blade. Sally stepped further inside. Adam said the same thing. Billy froze. "Adam, since when are you taking advice from him?" "I'm not," she said flatly. "I'm packing." The words landed like a bomb. Billy stared at her. "You're what?" "I'm done." Her voice trembled, but it didn't break. "I can't keep doing this." He laughed incredulously. "You're leaving me because I beat Victor." "I'm leaving because you didn't even think about how this would affect me, or us." "That's not fair." "No," she said softly. "What's not fair is always feeling like I'm second to your vendettas." Billy stepped toward her. "Sally, I love you." She closed her eyes briefly. "I was never enough for you." "That's not true." "You needed a war, you needed revenge, and I needed a partner." Her eyes shimmered, but she refused to let tears fall. "You did this," she whispered. "There's no coming back this time." Billy reached for her hand. She stepped away. And just like that, the last thread snapped. At Crimson Lights, the air smelled of espresso and tension. Chelsea Lawson leaned across the table, lowering her voice. "I still don't understand what Mariah was thinking." Across from her, Sharon Newman stiffened. "Mariah wasn't thinking clearly," Sharon said sharply. "She wasn't herself." Chelsea quickly backpedaled. "I didn't mean." "She was hurting." "I know," Chelsea insisted. It was a kidnapping, Sharon." The word hit like a slap. Sharon's eyes darkened. She's my daughter. Chelsea softened, and she needs you strong. Sharon exhaled shakily. I'm scared the light in her won't come back. It will, Chelsea said firmly. Mariah's stronger than you think. Before Sharon could respond, the bell above the cafe door jingled. Nick limped in. His face was pale, strained, pain etched deep lines across his expression. Nick, Sharon gasped, rising quickly. You look terrible. My leg, he muttered, it's killing me. Sharon rushed to get him tea, her concern immediate and fierce. Alone for a moment, Nick reached into his jacket pocket. Empty. His prescription painkillers were gone. His gaze drifted toward a small bag inside his coat lining. Fentanyl. His hand hovered. The weight of temptation was suffocating. And just as his fingers brushed the plastic, Sharon returned. Nick quickly dropped his hand. But the danger lingered. Meanwhile, at the Newman ranch, the air was colder than the February wind outside. Cane Ashby stood before Victor and Nicky Newman, anger simmering beneath forced restraint. Phillies and Billy screwed me, Cane admitted, and it doesn't feel good. Victor's expression didn't flicker. Newman Enterprises isn't in my hands anymore, Cane continued, so release Lily and the twins. The silence that followed was deadly. Victor's eyes hardened. You allowed this to happen. I was blindsided. You were careless. Cane's fists clenched. This isn't about me anymore. Lily and those children don't deserve to be pawns. Victor's voice dropped to a near whisper. Then fix it. Cane blinked. What? Get my company back. And if I do? Victor's gaze turned glacial. Then you will never see Lily Winters or the twins again. Rage exploded across Cane's face. This is insane. This, Victor replied coolly, is business. Cane stormed out, the door slamming behind him. Nicky turned to Victor immediately. You're pushing too hard. He needs motivation. You're risking Lily turning against us. Victor's eyes gleamed with something dangerous. I have another plan. And when Adam Newman arrived moments later with updates about Sally leaving Billy, Victor's lips curved slightly. I don't lose, he said quietly, and I will crush my enemies. The storm over Genoa City wasn't passing. It was just beginning. Billy sat alone in his apartment long after Sally's footsteps faded. The silence felt heavier than any argument ever had. For the first time since he joined forces with Phillies, doubt crept in, not about Victor, not about the takeover, but about what it had cost him. Across town, Sally folded her last sweater into a suitcase with trembling hands. She paused only once, when she found a photo of them smiling carefree before the war began. She didn't cry. She simply placed it face down. At Crimson Lights, Nick stared at his tea, the phantom ache in his leg pulsing stronger by the minute. Sharon watched him carefully. You need to see a doctor, she urged. I'm fine. You're not. He forced a smile. I've handled worse. But as Sharon turned away briefly, Nick's gaze flickered again toward that hidden bag. The line between pain management and destruction was razor thin. Cane drove aimlessly, Victor's ultimatum echoing in his mind. Get the company back, or lose Lily forever. He pulled over finally, gripping the steering wheels. Victor wasn't bluffing. And Cane knew something else too. Victor never revealed all his cards. Back at the ranch, Nicky confronted her husband again. What's your real plan? Victor stared into the fire. Billy believes he's won. And that makes him reckless. Nicky's stomach tightened. And Sally. Victor's voice was cold. Collateral damage. At Newman Enterprises, Adam replayed his conversation with Sally in his mind. She was vulnerable, alone, and walking away from Billy. A flicker of possibility sparked, but Adam knew better than to underestimate the chaos still coming. Because Victor wasn't finished. Not with Billy. Not with Cane. Not with anyone who dared cross him. By nightfall, Genoa City felt different. Fragile. Like one wrong move could shatter everything. Billy reached for his phone more than once, tempted to call Sally. He didn't. Sally stared out her new apartment window, wondering if she'd just walked away from love or saved herself from ruin. Nick lay awake in pain, fighting a battle no one else could see. Cane plotted his next move, knowing he had no choice but to fight back. And Victor Newman stood at the center of it all, calm and unshaken, already 3 steps ahead. Because in his world, defeat wasn't an option. And mercy was weakness. The war for control wasn't over. It had only just begun.